Today I'm excited to bring you one of my favorite classifications of jutsu. I seriously think bringing Senjutsu into Naruto is one of the coolest elements brought into Naruto Shippuden. There are going to be unknowns that are not even attempted to theorize, as this is an educational video on Sage Mode, not a video where I talk about theories, so I'll give you an example here. It's unknown where Hashirama learned Sage Mode. It's not canon in the manga or anime. What we do know is he didn't use it until he was relatively an adult. No side comments, let's just jump right into it. Senju translates to Sage Techniques. Sage Mode is a result of a person absorbing chakra through the environment. This chakra is known as Senjutsu chakra. The nature energy is absorbed at different rates and the user needs to stay still while absorbing chakra. But there are workarounds. For example, Kabuto's perfected version of Dragon Sage Mode allowed his body to constantly absorb chakra without ever having to stay still. Naruto was able to make shadow clones and have them absorb the Senjutsu chakra from a safe location, while Hashirama was just able to instantaneously enter Sage Mode and continue absorbing through the duration of the battle. Senjutsu can only be acquired through being reverse summoned and having them teach it to you. I mean, you can get there by foot, but the lands that teach you Sage Mode is hidden. And Fukusaku tells Naruto if you were to walk home, it's a couple months' journey. Or alternatively, you could be born with affinity to absorb Senjutsu chakra. Some people who hail from the clan Hyugo belongs to are supposedly born with this Kekkei Genkai. I say supposedly because not only is Jugo's clan unnamed, but it's really cloaked in mystery. It was never specified if Jugo was the last of his clan or if they're alive or well. Not only are there two methods of intaking natural energy, but there is a third. Jugo was a subject of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru was able to make a cursed seal that would allow a person to do what Jugo does. And that's passively absorb chakra. There is a problem with Jugo's Kekkei Genkai and Orochimaru's cursed seal. I guess you can call it a blessing in disguise. The user has no control over the amount of chakra they absorb. The imperfect balance of natural chakra to their own chakra changes their physical features, and that's a problem. For one, it causes Jugo to lose his sanity. Absorbing too much natural energy is also known to be the cause of Stage 2 in the Cursed Seal's artificial Sage Mode, which is a hidden benefit because some of the morphological changes your body undergoes is an upgrade to your combat skills. Like, Jugo's elbow turns into a mother-flipping rocket that uses its own chakra as propellant. Sasuke grows wings when he went to Stage 2. Yuya was able to amplify her genjutsu abilities. So even though this imbalance is seen as imperfect, the serious amount of chakra they absorb has a reoccurring theme of bolstering their strength. Which brings me to the pitfalls of learning Sage Mode. Sage Mode is such a hard technique to master that most Sage Mode users use an imperfect version like Jiraiya, so the effects are going to be similar to the artificial Sage Mode. When using Sage Mode and you absorb too much Senjutsu, then you take on physical characteristics of the animal that you learned Sage Mode from. If your ratio of Senjutsu absorbed is too little, then you will have weaker attacks or won't go into Sage Mode at all. This is the hardest part to perfect to a person who hasn't yet mastered Sage Mode. But I want to express that just because you haven't become a Senjutsu master doesn't mean that you're not really good at it. In fact, most people who try to learn Sage Mode at Mount Miyaboku, for example, either never learned it or died trying. Because if you absorb way too much natural energy, you'll end up turning into an animal. And once you've fully converted, there is no going back. So I wouldn't say they've died trying, but their existence as a shinobi is over. Naruto accidentally destroyed all the statues that were in honor of all the shinobi that attempted to learn Sage Mode and morphed into toads. It just takes so much time and practice to achieve perfect Sage Mode. But Naruto was clever and found that if he used shadow clones, then he could speed up the process. But there were drawbacks to this style of learning. The problem is that if one of the shadow clones goes full toad, then when the shadow clone returns to Naruto, it'll bring all the Senjutsu chakra to the original, damning him. So Fukusaku was walking around all the Naruto clones like a drill sergeant waiting for one of them to start turning into a toad, and then he would whack it with a stick. This would make the clone return to Naruto before it would mess him up pretty bad. I should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but I guess it'll be fine to put here. A senin is used as a term to refer to someone who uses senjutsu, but only naturally like Naruto and Minato. Alright, let's talk about that curse mark. Yes, the side effects. Okay, here we go. The curse mark is extremely unsafe and literally 9 times out of 10 will kill you. Sasuke got super freaking lucky to have gotten it and come out unscathed. So Orochimaru made a curse mark that mimicked Jugo's abilities. The curse mark is called the Curse Seal of Heaven. The initial curse mark kills those who are not compatible with Jugo's chakra frequency. By the way, that's 90% of subjects. You heard that right. Has an initial 90% mortality rate. But if you do survive, congratulations, because the chance of it killing you didn't drop at all. Yep, welcome to the jungle, baby, because you probably gonna die. So when you first receive the curse mark, it will steal your normal chakra, and I mean, yeah, it's still deadly at this point. Even for the people who lived with the curse mark for a while, you most likely can't control when you go into that sage mode-like state. I say most likely because there is that 1% who could. The curse mark also slowly corrupts your mind while at the same time putting you completely open to Orochimaru's suggestion. There are 2 stages to the curse mark. The first stage has unique marks that end up spreading across the body related to how much chakra you're getting from the mark. And the second stage morphs them into a creature that doesn't resemble a human or animal. It's entirely a different beast and is unique to every user. When and if you can control the curse mark, let us use Sasuke as an example. Like I said, he won the lottery with this. He just got super lucky. Orochimaru has made a medicine for the majority of people who can't enter stage 2, and it will slowly allow them to control it. They are called mind awakening pills, and are fatal when taken. Yep, they will kill you. On top of that, they'll corrupt your mind even faster. But Orochimaru did solve the death problem. They will be put under a semi-death state for a temporary amount of time, and they will then be revived and be free from the side effects related to death. But yay, now you'll be able to enter that second stage that you've always been meaning to get around to do. Am I right? So remember the time when Naruto first started airing and we thought the curse mark was like the coolest thing ever? Yep, turns out it wasn't. We've gotten all this way and haven't yet talked about the benefits of using Sage Mode. These apply to the natural Sage Mode users only. Oh shit, where do I begin? Okay, let's start with the obvious. Of course, you'll now have more chakra because you can now absorb that shit from literally thin air. When you do use a jutsu, expect that shit to take out the neighborhood, cause that's gonna get an upgrade too. Natural energy also protects you from heavy objects. The result is the same as a tailed beast cloak, but it's not really a protective barrier. Your body actually undergoes physical changes you can't see with the naked eye, and one of them making you more durable. Naruto accidentally fell off a cliff just after learning Senjutsu and was surprised to have shaken it off. Another physical change that occurs is your senses become bolstered to an unimaginable level. Naruto instantly became a sensory type when he mastered Sage Mode. Listen to this, I'll give you an idea about what this does to your senses. Madara is not a Sage Mode user, but Hashirama is. Madara used Hashirama's cells to absorb Hashirama's nature chakra through his implanted cells like a sponge. With this taste of Sage Chakra, Madara was able to kick Sasuke's ass without either of his eyes. He was totally blinded. A benefit to learning Sage Mode is that you also get to learn the animal's fighting style you learned Sage Mode from. So for Naruto, that's Frog Kunoite, or Frog Kata. They're pretty much the same thing, I mean that. This isn't just an ordinary fighting style, but when it's used in Sage Mode, there are extraordinary benefits. So for people who learned in Mount Miyaboku, the extra powers you get are an invisible chakra cloak that acts as an extension of your limbs. This allows a would-be missed attack to actually make contact, even if your hand doesn't actually strike a blow. And we're not even done yet. The benefits of using Sage Mode are pretty endless. Otsutsukis have the ability to absorb all ninjutsu, so the only way to take on one is by pure taijutsu, unless you're Baruto apparently and it got Vanishing Rasengan in your combat arsenal. But since he's the only user on the planet with this jutsu, odds are that won't work. But what you can do is hit him with a Senjutsu chakra infused jutsu. Senjutsu is that exotic. And what's cool is they wouldn't be able to tell the difference because non-Senjutsu mode users can't detect natural energy. Even people like Jugo and Curse Mark users can't see the natural energy plane around them. Even the best sensory types like Hyugas. Finally, the last benefit to using Sage mode, and in my opinion, this is the most important. Animals will freaking love you. Hey, check out my other shit. I don't want to be doing this for free no more.
I'm really stepping up my game. Can't get no more free, Randy.
But as always, stay cool, guys. See ya.
It's finished. I guess this is the end. Looking back, my life has been nothing but failure.